Hello to everyone. I'm Nishit Sangomla, the director at Somaiya Kala Vidya, and I'm really happy and honored to be presenting STV today at the World Health Forum. To set the geographical context, Kutch is a dry, arid, semi-arid region on the westernmost border in Gujarat. As you can see from the map, that's where we're placed, right next to Pakistan and closer to Rajasthan. So this specific region has been inhabited for the last 3,500 years since Harappan civilization. Over time, we have had, like Kutch has had influx from Sindh in Pakistan, from Marwar in Rajasthan, other parts of Gujarat, and also Persia, which is now Iran. All these cultural mixes have contributed to the exotic handicrafts and textiles that you actually see from the culture. So whenever we talk about Kutch, the thing that comes to mind are the two earthquakes that hit it. Most people know about the 2001 earthquake, but people generally don't understand that there was another one that happened in 1819 that created a ridge, which is called the Allahabad. So the ridge uh, actually broke down, like changed the course of Nara River, creating the Sindri Lake, which is one of the largest saltwater lakes in India. Because of this, the salinity in the water increased, and you actually see the landscape taking a very different form post that. The 2001 earthquake, on the other hand, uh, was devastating. It like 500,000 people were left homeless. There was a huge economic loss. There was a huge loss of life. Nearly 20,000 people had died in Kutch during that earthquake. But also, it saw a lot of influx of funding in terms of like support in terms of funding, support in terms of like organizational structuring. And this was also the time when the idea of design education first was conceived by my mentor and the founder director of Somaiya Kala Vidya, Judy Frater. This is a craft map that shows the textile of in the Kutch region, like specifically the textile crafts. We have worked in some of these locations, like some of our graduates come from this region. Uh, like Kutch has the block printing from Acharapur, Damatka. It has tie and dye that is practiced across the region. You have applique work, you have batik that is practiced more towards the southern part of the Kutch. And then you have embroidery that are practiced by the Rabari women, the Ahir women, and also Megwals. This is an introduction video that will actually set the foundation for whatever we're doing in the future. It summarizes everything that TV has been doing for so long. So the organization is playing it, and then we'll take the conversation forward.
मैं वीवर हूँ एक, और ये हमारा वंश परंपरागत काम है हमारा।
हम काम तो यही करते थे क्योंकि हमारे बाप दादा का काम है, तो हमें जो है प्रॉफिट जो मिलना चाहिए वो हमें नहीं मिलता, लेकिन जो दूसरे लोग हैं उनको वो प्रॉफिट मिलता, काम वो हमसे ही करवाते।
हर बार जब काम करते थे और जब कस्टमर आते थे लेते थे, तो वो जिसके लिए काम करता था उसी के नाम से चला जाता। हमको मिलता था सिर्फ पैसा, किसका काम है क्या है, और हमको ये भी पता नहीं चलता था कि हमारा जो काम है वो कौन उपयोग कर रहा है, इसका क्या वैल्यू है।
मतलब मुझे ऐसा था कि मुझे वीविंग नहीं करना है, इसमें कुछ मिलता नहीं है, मैं दूर भागना चाहता था वीविंग से।
काम करते रहते मशीन की तरह, कोई और ऑर्डर करता है, हम काम करते हैं अपना। वो जिंदा जब देखते थे तो भी पता नहीं चलता था कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं।
फिर 2008 में जूड़ी बहन से मेरी मुलाकात हुई और उन्होंने मुझे एक मौका दिया।
2006 में ये डिज़ाइन स्कूल शुरू किया, तो पहली टाइम मैं वहाँ डेमोस्ट्रेशन के लिए गया था, तो मुझे अच्छा लगा, तो मैंने बोला अच्छा ये कोर्स करने जैसा है, मैं भी करूँगा। इसलिए मैं 2008 में ये जो है डिज़ाइन कोर्स करने आया।
What we're doing here is unique. We are teaching design and business to traditional artisans, and the idea is that we are teaching what is usually considered to be higher education or specialized education directly to village people who may have very little or no formal education, and we're using their traditional knowledge as the prerequisite.
Here they are all naturally, they have that entire talent, they are natural and born artists. we just give a kind of a, platform to them where they come out with all kinds of colors, I can say.
Two courses that we have. One is design and one is business and management. And the business and management is a postgraduate course. They have to have gone through the design course first. So in the design course, we teach basically what anyone learns in any design school. We teach color, basic design. We teach concept development. We teach collection development and finishing and presentation. It's a 6-module course. Each course within the course is 2 weeks. Intensive, as you see here, the students and teachers live together. They work straight through for 13 days. And then the students go home. They're given homework assignments to apply what they learned in theory into their work directly and quickly, immediately, so that we ensure that they really understand and own that knowledge. We're recognizing their capability, basically. The stepped courses all aim toward creating a collection, and that collection is then produced and tested in the market.
डिज़ाइन तो मैं कर रहा था, पर उस नज़रिए से नहीं कर रहा था कि कौन पहनने वाला है, कौन सा मार्केट है और क्या होगा। इतनी सारी सोच नहीं थी, कौन से कलर डालेंगे, वो चीज़ें नहीं थी। वो सारी चीज़ें पढ़ने के बाद वहाँ पे क्लास जैसे जैसे करते गए वैसे वैसे मिलता गया।
We add market orientation, which some people from other mainstream design schools have said that they wish they had had. And that's not to say marketing, but to understand what is the market, what are the various sectors of the market, and how you innovate appropriate to whichever sector you choose.
यहाँ आने से एक तो ये भी समझ में है कि हमारा क्राफ्ट का वैल्यू क्या है, क्योंकि क्राफ्ट का वैल्यू तभी पता चला कि हमारे कस्टमर कौन है, उसका उपयोग कौन करता है, इसको क्यों लोग इतना पसंद करते हैं। तो ये सब बातें हमको समझ में आई। फिर ये मार्केट के लिए कैसे काम करना है, फिर फोरकास्ट के बारे में जाना, तो दुनिया के साथ ऑटोमेटिकली हम उसके साथ जुड़ गए, क्योंकि फोरकास्ट आता है जो है वो दुनिया भर में आता है, तो हम दुनिया के साथ भी इस तरीके से कनेक्ट हो गए।
और आज की डेट में मैं अपना खुद का बिजनेस करता हूँ। मेरा खुद का एक शॉप है और 3-4 कारीगर भी हैं और अच्छा खासा स्टॉक भी बनाते हैं और मार्केट भी है, और मोस्टली हम ऑर्डर पे काम करते हैं। और जिसके साथ भी हम काम करते हैं उनको बोलते हैं हमारे साथ काम करना है तो इतना वेट करना पड़ेगा, ऐसी क्वालिटी मिलेगी। तो ये सारी चीज़ें कॉन्फिडेंट एक बात करने की, वो सारी चीज़ें विद्यालय में पढ़ने के बाद बहुत ही मदद मिली है हमें।
There is so much depth and so much knowledge and so much finesse and creativity in these traditions, and of course with a blend of the modern. You should never forget where you come from and what history brings to you, because history is the crux of everything, right? I mean, you create history as you go along. So you're not saying I truly believe that preservation of these craftsmen and artisans is very crucial to the progress of this country.
There are 3 questions that lay down the foundation of whatever we will be discussing, and something that I would like all of the audience to take back from this presentation. The first question would be, who crafted the traditional pieces that we see in museums and try to take inspiration from? Most of these, craft has always been very personal. Artisans, they knew exactly who their client was. They knew what they liked, what they disliked. But due to increase in industrialized products that were cheaper, the markets were replaced. Like local markets did not exist anymore for these artisans. But also at the same time, there was this higher niche market that was being created where traditional crafts were valued for their intricate work and design. But the artisans did not have access to those markets. They did not have access to understand who their new client was. And this is where interventions started coming in. This is where the designers started coming in. This is where organizations and middlemen started coming in. So why don't we, instead of design intervention, why can't we think about how can we foster co-design amongst artisan designers, among artisans and other artisans, so that they get a conducive environment where they can actually share their opinions, share their thoughts, and design on an equal platform. The third question would be for organizations such as us and others all across the world, why become change makers when you can actually become the catalyst to change? Like educational programs where artisans themselves uh, take the lead and try to understand the markets, try to understand, like you don't need to handhold, you don't need to um, uh, tell them what to do. I think you just provide them the right kind of tools, right kind of opportunities, and then you would see that as any human would, they also develop their thoughts. They would also like get the best of their own potential in terms of growth. This brings us to the most interesting part, like sad and interesting part of our journey so far. Like during the pandemic, we had to shut down the physical classes. So we tried doing online classes. We tried working with the students on different things. Like we used to give them assignments over WhatsApp. We tried teaching them how to do better photography, better videography. Some things worked, some things did not. But in the end, we also learned something very important, that we we cannot teach artisans through digital media because they think through their hand, and it's literally impossible to um, like to provide such an environment that they can actually try to understand. During this time, we also went into the construction of the new campus started, which can now house a lot more students. And also we are planning to expand into other crafts. We did a couple of outreach programs. We'll be talking about them in detail in the next slides. We collaborated with designers, we collaborated with marketing platforms so that artisans can sell whatever stock they had, whatever new products that they were designing. We did workshops again. We collaborated with Etsy, which is an international platform, to enroll them for digital, like selling, to make them understand how the entire process of e-selling happens. A lot of graduates were interested, actually participated. They might have taken something from it, but I think so only a couple actually started their shops on Etsy. But we are thinking of doing all these programs that we actually did online by through physical means and see if they can understand the online market. We also laid down the foundation of Design Craft, which is a for-profit organization that raises the value of craft from the market side. So through Design Craft, what we're trying to do is build a brand, build a marketing platform where the artisans can sell under their own brands, sell under their own names, instead of just selling the product. Like you actually know who the product is made by, and they are the ones that are interacting with the customers directly. So the artisan to artisan outreach programs is how we replicate the vision of design education. We want to scale this horizontally, right? So we did one during the pandemic, 2021, towards the end, when things were much more safe to do a physical project. So we work with 26 women weavers. Most of the products are carbon neutral, as you can see from the design at the top left corner. It's a carpet that was designed by one of the women who went through the course, who understood design now. And also, the best part was like all these products, they are completely hands-on, hand-woven. And the designs are coming from the traditional motifs that they used to use. And this is what we want to foster. Like this is one of the things that we want to take forward. The second one is Kumao. This project, this was just before the pandemic that the project had taken shape, and it was also done in 2018. So the Pachan Bhai who work within women viewers. The other thing we need to understand here is the artisans get a lot of exposure. When Pachan Bhai worked here with the women viewers, she then went on to Ladakh to work with other women viewers. She realized that Kutch doesn't have them. And like they don't have women viewers who are famous, or like, who might be doing good work but are not getting recognition for it. So he started, when he came back, he actually set up an interesting like not official organization but unregistered organization kind that's working with the women and promoting their work. And this is what I'm talking about. Like when you give them education, when you give them the right kind of a conducive environment, they are able to come up with their own ideas and actually bring change to the community that we think can happen only through interventions by organizations as such. They also won the ICA. ICA is an organization here in India. Bagalkot is the longest running project that we have. We have 5 associated weavers. Right now, I am in Bagalkot as the presentation is going on. We are planning to set up a regional center, like to pilot it and see if can we adopt our learnings and adapt them to Bagalkot and see if the project takes off. And for that, we are including the artisans who have been going through this program for the last 8 years now, and see how we can build a system like that. Because if this is successful, then we can scale horizontally and set up regional centers across India. The best metric to assess any educational program is through what the students and the graduates of the course have been doing. For example, this is a very beautiful photo from the 2017 Lakme Fashion Show, where 7 of the graduates of SKV and KRV were recognized as designers in their own sense. Over time, like some of our graduates have participated in international exhibitions in international folk art markets and some of them have won media awards. Some of them have gone and represented Kutch in textile museums in Washington, D.C., in Oaxaca, in the the textile museum in Oaxaca. They have participated in other fashion shows, like, for example, Mubin, I just did it in Kazakhstan. So, yeah, this is what we're talking about. And they consistently won awards. They like applying to awards. They like getting the recognition for their work. They like getting, and that is what they talk about. Like, how do you raise the value of craft? How do you raise the value of the artisans behind the craft? And I think that's very important. These are some other success stories, like we have written about the increasing profit margin and the technical quantitative terms. But to be very honest, Irfan Bhai is also on the governing council of SCV. He's also a part of the SCV graduate advisors. And during the pandemic, he actually supported the people that were working with him. He was paying their wages even though there was no work. He was actually making masks, block printed masks, and delivering it free of cost. So that's the kind of work, that's the kind of mentality, that's the kind of behavior that we see from people who have gone through the educational program and who have not. Like, there is a difference. Zakia Ben was the first Bandhani artisan that took the course at KRV and then did the business and management at Somaiya Kala Vidya. He started a brand called Bairaj, which basically says the rule of women. Along with her husband, who's also a design and business graduate from SKV, they have started their own brand, and they have done a lot of good work. They just work on collections. They don't make regular work. That they don't want to promote regular work because they think Bandhani needs to be promoted via collections, via this uniquely uniquely crafted products. Mukhtar Bhai is our permanent faculty right now. He assists the faculty that come and teach at SKV. He himself runs a very large business with 15 to 20 dyers. Even during the pandemic, as I was telling you about Irfan Bhai, Mukhtar Bhai was actually working so as to provide free ration and food to people in Kutch. So that's the kind of work that these guys do. Purushottam Bhai is Pachan Bhai's elder brother, and together they run a brand called Tree Threads. And it's very interesting to see how within their own family they have found as who is the better designer, who actually works on concepts and who actually builds collections. Pachan Bhai. Purushottam Bhai works on marketing. This is really good at understanding as to what the market needs. He's so good that once when we were talking, he said that every time I make a product, I know exactly who the client is. So I know when they walk into the shop that this is a person that will buy this, and they will actually pay the right kind of value. So that kind of understanding, that kind of confidence is what you get through education, which is not possible, I would say, otherwise. Education or experience, I guess. But then because of the long kind of exploitative, oppressing behavior that has happened with artisans, I think education is needed to get them back to reclaim what was already there. I think that's where uh, design education programs for artisans come into picture. So in the end, our learnings, that the main learning that we have had is that education instills confidence and pride in one's traditions and craft. And that is the foundation on which everything else is based on. Unless and until you get that, you make them realize their own potential, you would not be able to find better markets or better outreach. And it's very important. So far, we have had 200 graduates from the design program, which ran earlier as Kalaksha Vidyalaya, and 84 from Somaiya Kala Vidya, which is a new design institute. They mostly run their own brands, they mostly run their own businesses. I would not say that all of them do it, but the ones that do, they are doing amazing work. And any program does not have 100% success, and that we accept. Uh, Looking at the future, like our entire idea and vision is to build a collaborative approach uh, towards grassroots organizations that are working across the world. Like, how do we build artisan to artisan outreach programs across the world? Because that would also give exposure to artisans from both the places, and it's very important and very interesting to see how they come together. Design schools, for example, Judy Frater was a faculty at University of Wisconsin for one of the programs, and she got three, four of our graduates as co-faculty. So they taught to students, they work with students. It was very interesting to see how the collaboration came forth. And we are more than happy to host, we have collaborations with other design schools, with other freelance artists, designers who would want to come teach at SKV or work with us, work with the artisans on a collaborative approach where they respect the kind of work that's happening here, and whether they respect the ideas, the thoughts behind the artisans, their stories, and also try to empathize with. So yes, thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.